Vishnupadaya Kṛṣṇa Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti-Vikas Swamini Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Kṛṣṇa Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti-Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paśatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Please tell them to stop for 1 hour. Hare Krishna. Okay, welcome you all for this Brahma-saṁhitā discussions. Today we are at the text 52. I'll be sharing the screen and then we can start. Okay, so this is shloka 52. Yad chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rasesha teja yasya gyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation. The sun, who is the king of all the planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. So we were hearing Krishna's supremacy over different demigods, over Shiva, Durga, Ganapati, Brahma, and different elements. And now in today's shloka, we can see that Brahma-saṁhitā establishes the Krishna supremacy over sun also. The sun is not an independent demigod. It runs under the control of Krishna. So we'll see the purport. Certain professors of the Vedic religion worship the sun as Brahman. So some philosophers of Vedic lore, they consider that sun itself is Brahman, absolute truth. The sun is one of the hierarchy of the 5 gods that we heard in Pancha Upasana, that Vishnu, Durga, Shiva, Ganapati and Sūrya are worshipped. Some people target in heat the source of this world and therefore designate the sun, the only location of heat, as the root cause of this world. Because the sun is life-giving to this planet and to all the universe, some people consider that's the God. The sun is the God. Sūrya is a God. Notwithstanding all that may be said to the contrary, the sun is after all only the presiding deity of a sphere of the sum total of all mundane heat, and is hence a God exercising delegated authority. So now here is explained that is it source of all heat or not, that we can discuss. But anyway, it's presiding deity of a sphere of the sum total of mundane heat. The sun is totality of all the heat, mundane heat, physical, material heat. And it's a presiding deity over it. The delegated power from Krishna came to the sun god to control it, to worship it. To be, therefore it's worshipped for that. The sun performs his specific function of service, certainly by the command of Govinda. So this is what Shastra said, the sun is not independent, has no power on his own, he gets power from Krishna, gets the position in the universe as the most important planet by Krishna's power, by Krishna's empowering him. Yachakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja. Sakala grahanam raja, the king of all planets. Most important of all the planets, it's the sun. Okay, we'll see Srila Jiva Goswami's commentaries here. Immediately confirms this by quoting Gita. Okay, and just do like this. Immediately, Srila Jiva Goswami quotes, Yad aditya gatam tejo jagad bhasayate kilam. Know that the light of the sun, moon and fire which illuminates this universe is my light. No, so the light of the sun comes from Krishna. Later on, we'll see more details about that. And he quotes also the Shrutis, Upanishads, Bishasmad Vata Bhavate Vishodheti Sūrya. The wind blows out of fear of the Lord. The sun rises out of fear of the Lord. So, I mean, this is clear. Who is in charge here? Who is supreme? No? So, Srila Prabhupada confirms this as his writing, because sun is worshipped in India. Sun is worshipped as a most important planet, is worshipped by chanting of Gayatri mantras, is worshipped for health, is worshipped by yogis, is worshipped by jnanis, is worshipped by karmis, is worshipped by devotees. We also chant Gayatri mantra, but the understanding must be clear that who is the source of the power of the sun, who is actually to be worshipped by the looking at the sun, by the worshipping the sun. So this is now what we are going to discuss today. Srila Prabhupada explains, as we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. And now he quotes Brihad Aryanaka Upanishad. By the supreme order, the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and other great planets are moving. So here is clearly Sūrya, Chandra, Masu, and everyone else is moving under the will of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada then quotes Brahma-saṁhitā, the Shlokya Chakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam, and he says, this is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, is one of the eyes of Vishvarupa, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Vishvarupa, when you open his eyes, he could see. So the light is emanated from sun, so that we can see. Without light, you cannot see. Without God seeing, we cannot see. Unless Vishvarupa opens his eyes and sun is manifested, we cannot see. Okay. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what Shastra teaches. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam confirms the same. Mad-bhayat vati vato yam Sūryas tapati mad-bhayat. The wind blows out of fear of me. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. No? The sun shines out of fear of me. Indra sends the rain out of fear of me. Fire incineres out of fear of me. And that continuously traverses back and forth through the world out of fear of me. Look at this, that mrityus charati, mad-bhayat. What is it that continuously traverses back and forth throughout the world? What does it mean? Any thought? Well, this is mrityu particular, it's not about janma. Mrityu charati. Charati, going here and there through the world. Means people are dying all over the universe. That's what it means. Okay, so this is the point here. And the commentary in this shloka of Bhagavatam explaining that actually everyone, every planet, every phenomenon in the universe is under control of the Lord. The commentary says like this: if any of these empowered demigods, if any of them inflict any kinds of difficulties whatsoever upon my devotees, I do not delay in withdrawing their authority. Now Krishna gave power to demigods, but it's not that they now become independent, that they don't care for the Lord. Indra, famous Govardhan Leela, Indra misunderstood his power and it was withdrawn from him. What he could do? Krishna said, oh, you're God of rain and I have an umbrella. Lift up the Govardhan. What can Indra do? So here the warning was given in commentaries that if any of the devatas becomes bewildered by their powers and harm my devotees, I withdraw their authority. Okay. So then again, it's quoted, Katha Upanishads, na tat Sūrya bhati na chanda tarakam. Although the sun, moon, stars, lightning and fire illuminate everything, they cannot illuminate Bhagavan or his abode. You know from Gita, no, na tad bhasati Sūrya, na shashanko na bhavaka. The sun is very important, the most important. Raja Grahanam, the king of all planets within the material universe. But for Vaikuntha planets, spiritual planets, they are self-illuminating. There is no need for the sun. And they can illuminate everything, but they cannot illuminate God. He is more shining. And then they cannot illuminate his abode also. So you can see that the power of the sun is restricted within material world, within material universe. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada explains further. Similarly, the sun is only reflection, just like moon is reflection of the sunlight. Similarly, the sun is also reflection of Brahma-jyoti. And what is that Brahma-jyoti? Brahma-jyoti is the bodily rays, effulgent rays of Krishna. So this is where the sun power comes from. You know? And then again, sunlight is reflected in so many shining objects here. So this is explained. Now in the Vishnu Sahasranam, there is description of Lord who is controller of the sun. And you can see the different names of the sun are described. Here the shloka is quoted. And translation goes like this, the meanings. Lord Krishna enables his devotees to enter the eternal spiritual world. Vihaya Sagati. And those who leave the body in a condition of spiritual enlightenment attains his association spiritual realm, Jyoti. Okay. Now, by his mercy, it is light in the daytime, Suruchi. By his mercy, there is light in the daytime. And he is like a splendid full moon which dispels all the darkness with devotee's heart, Bhutabhug Vibhu. By his mercy, the sun moves in the north, Ravi. That's the meaning of Ravi. You know, that's one of the sun's name. No? Do you know 12 names of the sun that they teach you in the school? No? Yes, I think. Huh? I mean, I asked Rasik Shekhar Prabhu, I think older generation they were taught in the school, they teach them mantra for worshipping Sūrya. No, you don't know? Modern education. No more demigod worship. They give names of the sun as Savita, Aditya, Sūrya, Ravi, Bhaskara, and what else? Anybody? Okay, it's coming. And by his mercy, the sun travels in its orbit every year, Virochana. By his mercy, sun travels in the wind, Sūrya. By his order, sun god Aditya directs the sun planet's movement, Savita. By his mercy, the sun and the moon travel in their orbits, Ravi Lochana. And these are all names of Vishnu. So this is again clear. Who is controller? Who gives power? Who gives the ability to sun to perform his amazing function? So people worship Sūrya from time immemorial, since the Vedas are created, the glories of Sūrya described in all four Vedas and Purāṇas as well. So these are some of the names. This is quoted from Padma Purāṇa. An intelligent man who would recite these 12 names, Aditya, Bhaskara, Bhanu, Ravi, Vishwaprakash, Tix Namsu, Martanda, Sūrya, Prabhakar, so also Vibhavasu, Sahasraksha, Pushan, obtains or daughter of Himalaya mountain, wealth, sons and grandsons. So Sūrya is worshipped for material benefit. When you worship, you get wealth, sons and grandsons if you chant these 12 names of what have I done? Just chanted that. Okay. Another place is said, a Brahmana who recite each name would worship sun on the earth would be endowed with wealth and mastery of the Vedas for 7 existences, for 7 generations, okay? For 7 generations, he will be master of Vedas if he worships sun. So sun is worshipped for Vedic knowledge. No? Okay, we know the famous story of Yajnavalkya when he had misunderstanding, disobeying his guru, then he worshipped Sūrya. And we know that Shukla Yajurveda was revealed to him by the Sūrya Narayan. Akshatriya obtains the kingdom if you worship Sūrya. Vaishya would get wealth, and Shudra secures devotion. Therefore, man should recite this great hymn. These are mantras for worshipping Sūrya. Of course, we should not understand that, we should not forget that Sūrya has his source, is not ultimate Supreme Lord. So immediately the Maha Upanishad is quoted, Narayana Dvadasha Aditya Jayante. From Narayana, 12 Adityas are born. No, Narayana Dvadasha Aditya Jayante. It's very clear. This is from Maha Upanishads. And then again, Gopal Tapani Upanishads is quoted. The original cause of cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. When great saintly persons, fully aware of the Vedic knowledge, offer prayers to the Supreme Person, he descends to this material world in the form of the sun to benefit all the planets and purify fruitive activities. He divided himself into 12 parts, Dvadashaditya, and created seasonal forms, beginning with the spring. In this way, he created the seasonal qualities, such as heat, cold, and so on. So this is in 5th canto of Bhagavatam. Now sun is directly referred as Lord Narayan. So that you will find throughout Prabhupada's books and throughout the Vedas. Sometimes Surya is described as a demigod. Sometimes he is described as a Surya Narayana, Lord himself. So we'll see into the mystery of this understanding. Okay, let's see like this. According to system, 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, people generally worship Supreme Personality Godhead Narayana, who is situated as the sun god. Now again, Srila Prabhupada says here that Narayan is the sun god. With great faith, they worship the Supreme Personality as Super Soul according to ritualistic ceremonies handed down in the 3 Vedas, such as Agnihotra and similar higher lower fruitive acts, and according to the process of mystic yoga. In this way, they very easily attain the ultimate goal of life. So Vedas recommend worship of Surya, but it's from this statement of Bhagavatam is also clear that Surya is Narayana himself. Now look at this. The moon is called Jiva, Prabhupada said in another purport, which means that he is living entity like us, Chandra. But because of his pious activities, he has been appointed to his post as the moon god. Similarly, all the demigods are living entities who have been appointed to various posts as the masters of the moon, the earth, Venus, and so on, because of their great service and pious acts. Only the predominating deity of sun, Surya Narayan, is an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Correct? But this shloka said that Surya is running under the will of Govinda. So, how to understand? Okay, let's go on. Seeing different quotes. Of all beings under the sun, particular personality is God by the name of Vivaswan. He is known as sun god, Surya Narayana. From this quote, you may think, oh, is this God? God is not in capital, in small. Vivaswan, demigod. Correct? Okay, so Prabhupada clarifies. The demigod Surya, who is categorized as very powerful jiva, or living entity, is a representation, one of the parts of his body, of the Lord's body, no? Eye, it's eye of the Lord. We are naturally subordinate to powerful living entities, and therefore we can worship various demigods as living beings who are powerful representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the worship of the sun god is recommended in this mantra, he is worshipped not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but as his powerful representative. So this is the secret that actually Lord empowers the jiva. The sun, Surya, is a demigod who is empowered by the Lord. But because of that very unique position and special power is invested in him more than in others. He is listed among one of the 5 most important demigods. And also, the one's name among the 12 names of the Surya is Vishnu. Vishnu himself takes the post also of the Surya. So either is vibhuti of the Lord, either is fully empowered jiva, more empowered than others for particular function, so therefore is worshipped as a Lord, or is Lord himself. Yeah, so both things. Sometimes Lord himself takes post of the Sūrya. Srila Jiva Goswami explains further. Gayatri is addressed to the super soul of the sun god. Gayatri is addressed to the super soul of the sun god. When we chant Gayatri, usually common Brahmanas, they will say, oh, we worship sun god. But look at what Jiva Goswami say. When Gaudiya Vaishnavas chant Gayatri, they are chanting the Gayatri addressing the super soul of the sun god. Vishnu is worshipped. The Supreme Lord in the form of Surya Narayana. Now, not only any form, but particularly the Surya Narayana form. When we worship Kṛṣṇa, who is himself Surya Narayana. We don't see it as a demigod. When Brahmana chants the Brahma Gayatri, they are praising the light, Bhargas, of the effulgent sun, Deva, who is the inspirer of all life, Savita. These are all names of the Surya. Physically, Savita is the sun in the sky, which everyone sees. But intelligent people recognize, according to Vedic authority, that more essentially, Savita is the name of a powerful demigod, the soul of this external body. So we have three visions. One is that materialistic person sees the sun as a planet, as a shining object in the sky, and they also appreciate it. They like the sun, the life-giving sun. Sun is most auspicious. Even atheists will accept, oh, we need a sun, we want the sun. Then the higher are people who follow Vedic lore and they worship him as a demigod. Okay, and then the highest, those who are most intelligent, understand that original Savita is the personality of Godhead, super soul of the sun god and all other souls. So that the third, the most important understanding is that one should worship Supreme Lord, who is the super soul of the sun god, who is the one who given him power, by whose will, out of whose fear, everything is running. So this is the understanding. Okay, so okay, we have one more quote. This is again quoted as Rudra among the Rudras, as Brahma among the followers of Brahma, as a demigod among the demigods, as a human being among the humans, as the destroyer of obstacles, Ganesh among Vinayakas, as Sūrya Narayan among the Adityas, as Gandharva among Gandharvas, as an Apsara among the Apsaras, as a Vasu among the Vasus. My form, which fulfills desire, is present even in this invisible, when it is invisible. Whether visible or invisible in this world, my form is always stays in my own abode. So our Lord says that of all the Rudras, I am the Rudra. He is the chief one. Of all Brahmas, he comes as a Brahma. Of all followers of Brahma, he is Brahma. All demigods, Deva, he is the chief demigod. All human beings, he is the best. Of all Vinayakas, he is Ganesh. Of all Adityas, 12 Adityas there, he is Surya Narayan. So again, you can see here the same principle. Who has given power to all this? Ekadasha Rudra, Dvadasha Aditya, 8 Vasus, who has given them power? Kṛṣṇa. So these are counted as vibhutis of the Lord. You can see in Bhagavad Gita, they are all listed there. So this is the understanding. Okay, let me see where we are. Okay, this was quote from Gopal Tapani Upanishad, by the way. And so this is the point, that if one worships Surya without understanding of that he gets potency from the Supreme Lord, or he's not understanding that he is Supreme Lord, then he is just demigod worship. But if one worships Surya Narayana, understanding this is Krishna's own expansion, or that this is Jiva empowered by Krishna with a specific function, that is completely different understanding. Different result will be achieved. So, and then in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we hear the glories of sun, particularly 5th canto, of course. But in different places, sun is glorified. But 5th canto describes more details because of the description of the cosmic creation of the whole universe. So here, the essential function of the sun is described in the Shloka of Bhagavatam. This is very interesting. This is in 3rd canto first mention, and then details are given in 5th canto. O Vidura, the sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. He diminishes the duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment. See what the sun does? You notice this one? Diminish duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachments. First give lives and take lives, no? And enlarge the path of elevation to the heavenly kingdom. He thus moves in the firmament with great velocity, and therefore everyone should offer him respect once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship. So here is recommended worship him as a devata and understanding these 3 very important functions. We'll analyze a little bit. This is very interesting. First point, O Vidura, the sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. So this is clear. This is that we understand without heat and light, there is no life. There is no life. We cannot sustain our bodily heat. We'll die. If there is no, can you imagine? The sun doesn't come out for a few years. Gone. Life on the earth is gone. Life in the universe is gone. No? Cold will come. The plants won't grow. There won't be food. There won't be oxygen. There won't be us, by the way. Make it simple, not the go. You know? So everything, you know, depends on the sun. Sun evaporates oceans and rivers. We get the clouds. We get the clear water. So water is preserved in the ocean, and salt is placed inside to preserve it, otherwise it will get spoiled. So you see, Bhagavan makes such a system. To preserve the water on the earth, he made it salty. If you put salt in the water, water will not get spoiled. But you can't drink salty water, you die. If you drink salty water, you'll die. This is a big problem that the sailmen who are sailing all over the world, they had to carry water with them. For months and months, they see only water around them, but they can't drink it. And when they run out of the water, if they go mad and start drinking the salty water, they die. But Bhagavan made super distillation system. He heats the water, just like we do in laboratory. Same in the laboratory, we do the same thing. You heat the salty water, and all condensation is collected as a distillate water. So what is happening? The sun evaporates the water from the ocean, makes the clouds. Clouds, no salt inside, pure water. But it's distillate water. Distillate water with no minerals, no energy, no Shakti in it. Then what happens? The clouds come and pour water over the mountains, over the earth, and all the minerals, all the good things, all the herbs, everything good, the good is washed, dropped into the river. And then you get powerful water to drink. Or goes through the earth, get purified through the earth, and when spring comes out, is already in hands enriched with minerals and whatever, you know, all the beneficial powers, you know. So you see Bhagavan's system, perfect. And then gives you water, and Bhagavan says, use, and water goes back into the ocean. Inexhaustible system. When we were with Dhanavir Maharaj, we were studying this Vedic cosmology, and we were reading a lot of passages from Vedas and from Purāṇas. Vedas also, we were reading quite some passages describing the sun. And then I remember reading, I don't know which was it, from one of the Vedas we were reading, how many sun rays sun has. Sun has a sun ray, means one sun ray. Then sun has 8 sun rays, 9, 27, 81, 108. And then last shloka, sun has 100,000 different varieties of sun rays. So scientists know something. They know ultraviolet, infrared, gamma, X-ray, this ray, that ray. But actually Vedas describe 100,000 varieties of the sun rays. There is description of dark sun rays. Sun rays some are healing, some are disturbing. Prabhupada says always, morning sun gives you good health. Evening sun takes health away. If you see in Vimana Shastra, description, if you prepare particular mirror and reflect the sun ray, according to quality of the mirror, this particular sun ray will be attracted with particular function. So mirrors are prepared with silver, with mercury, with different herbs, cooked for hours and then casted. So if different qualities of mirrors are there to attract. So if you attract particular sun ray, in Vimana Shastra, you are traveling Vimana all over the universe. So there are different Vimanas, on the earthly planet up to the Swarga Loka and up to the Brahma Loka. So there are different qualities of airplanes described in Shastras. And then there will be maybe fight, maybe Asuras will go around. So you have to equip your vehicle with some kind of weapon. So mirrors are used as a weapon. Different mirrors will attract different sun rays. So one sun rays will reflect, you reflect the sun rays through this particular mirror on the enemy and he becomes paralyzed. Second one reflects that he becomes stupefied. Third one, it burns him to ashes. Fourth, sun rays can completely make your Vimana invisible. And the given different recipes are given how to prepare different mirror to reflect different part of. So it's amazing. It's mind blowing. It's so much they knew. We don't know this science. We have no clue. You know, we have no clue. Some of the reflection of sun rays from some good metals gives you health. Some takes health away. So, you know, Vedic rishis, they knew so much about the world, scientifically they knew how to use it. We have no clue. We never heard. Oh, any mirror you are reflecting, you know, sometimes children are playing with these mirrors, you know. But depends what mirror it is, what kind of sun rays you are projecting, you know. Watch out. Don't play with the mirrors. Okay, so anyway, so this is the first one. Sun enlivens all living entities with his unlimited heat and light. So this is clear, first function of the sun. Second one, he diminishes the duration of life of all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment. So this is clear, this is servant of God. It's his function to diminish the life of the living entity. Now, what is your age? What is your age? 25. You have 25 years. What does it mean that I have 25 years? Say again? Yeah, but okay, my point is a little different in this case. Okay, I'm asking something else. What means that when you declare, I have 25 years? Hmm? Right, it refers to duration of time. Since I'm born, 25 years have passed. What means 1 year? 365 days. How you get 365 days? Why not 1 year is 100 days? It's easy to calculate. Why 365? Then I have to count. 25 years. How many days you lived? Difficult to count. So why 1 year is measurement of our life? Why? Takes 365 days for sun to go up on the Uttarayana towards the north and travel the south from Sumeru, Dakshinayana. Takes 365 days to do one round. This is 1 year. Our life is measured by movements of the sun. Then you have 12 months. What are the 12 months? Why you have 12 months? Why not 8 months? Why not 10? It's easy to count again, you know. 12 months. Why? Because sun travels to the 12 nakshatras. In each nakshatra gets different name. And each nakshatra, sun changed the speed, changed the form. There are 12 adityas, 12 personalities. Every month, different sun is shining upon us. You didn't notice? In May 1, it's a little hotter than now. Yeah? So, and at Pralaya is described. All 12 come together to shine and burn everything. So, different nakshatras, different personalities enter every month, and they drive different speed. So you will see in February is very fast. Sūrya is very fast. 28 days only takes to cross this particular nakshatra. Next one is 30 days. Next one is 31 days. Then you get 365 days again, divided into 12. You get the 12 months. Then according to movements, and we will see this later. And what is the point? Our time, our life is measured according to movement on the sun. And this is described here. Diminished duration life of all living entities in order to release them from the illusion of material attachment. Okay, Srila Prabhupada explained this in Bhagavatam. The sun god, who controls the affairs of the entire universe, especially in regard to heat, light, seasonal changes, and so on, is considered an expansion of Narayana. He represents the three Vedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sama, and therefore is known as Traimaya, the form of Lord Narayana. Sometimes the sun god is also called Sūrya Narayana. The sun god has expanded himself into 12 divisions, and thus he controls the 6 seasonal changes and causes winter, summer, rain, and so on. We'll see later on how this is done. Yogis and karmis, following the Varnashram institution, who practice Hatha or Ashtanga yoga, or who perform Agnihotra sacrifices, worship Sūrya Narayan for their own benefit. The demigod, Sūrya, is always in touch with Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, residing in outer space, which is in the middle of the universe, Antariksha. Between Bhuloka and Bhuvaloka, the sun rotates through the time circle of zodiac, represented by 12 rashis or signs, and assumes different names according to the sign he is in. So this is how it goes. We don't accept this idea, but modern science says this heliocentric system, that sun is fixed and all planets are rotating around the sun. No, we understand the geocentric model. When sun is rotating around the earth, earth is fixed and sun is rotating around the earth. And not only sun, all the planets and nakshatras also. So this is what you see. This is what you see practically in the night. So Srila Prabhupada, let's read a little more, then we'll explain, For the moon, every month is divided into fortnight. Well, wait, let me maybe say a few more words. Okay, not too complicated. I'll show a little bit video, but do we have the audio? Can I connect the audio also? No, because mic is connected. Huh? Maybe it will work automatically. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We'll see in a few minutes. Okay. Prabhupada says like this. For the moon, every month is divided into 2 fortnights. Okay, 2 fortnights. Why? Because moon goes 15 days waning and waxing. Correct. This is the moon. Similarly, according to solar calculation, month is equal to the time sun spends in one constellation. 2 months consider one season. And there are 12 months in the year, so you have 6 seasons. Okay. The entire area of the sky is divided into 2 halves, each representing an ayana, the course traversed by the sun within a period of 6 months. So you have this Uttara when it goes towards north and Dakshina when it goes towards sun. Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. The sun travels sometimes slowly, sometimes swiftly, and sometimes at the moderate speed. The 3 speeds of sun are described in the Vedas. In this way, it travels within the 3 worlds consisting of heavenly planets, earthly planets, and outer space. Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. So sun doesn't go to Atala, Vitala, Patala, Sutta, doesn't go down, doesn't go up. Satya, Jana, Tapa, Mahaloka, doesn't go there. Between the Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, from the Dhruva Loka to the Bhu Mandala, this is where sun travels and shines. These orbits are referred to by great learned scholars by them Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Ida Vatsara, Anuvatsara, and Vatsara simply. That will be explained in few shlokas here. 2 solar movements make one day and night of the demigods. Now look at this. For Makara Sankranti day, what do you call it, Pongal here in the south, we have entered into Uttarayana. Uttarayana started. The sun movement started towards the north. It will go for 6 months. Every morning, if you see sun, you will see slowly drifting to the north. Okay, for 6 months we'll go there. This is day of Devatas. Therefore, Uttarayana is always auspicious for pujas, for worship, for yagyas, for leaving the body. For everything is auspicious. Uttarayana. It's a day for devatas. And then when Dakshinayana comes from somewhere June 21st, then goes Dakshinayana. Sun traverses the south portion, south from Sumeru, and this is night for the devatas. So how long demigods live? 6 months is one day, 6 months is one night. It's mind-blowing. Okay. So 2 solar movements make one day and night of the demigods. And that combination of day and night is one complete calendar year for human being. The human being has a duration of life 100 years. Influential stars, planets, luminaries, and atoms all over the universe are rotating in their respective orbits under the direction of Supreme, represented by eternal Kala. Now, there is a close link between Sūrya and the Kala chakra. Above the all nakshatras, there is a Kala chakra of the Lord, the time energy. And you will see now that in the chariot of Sūrya is described, he is running on the wheel of time. So this is very, very close. So this is how this second purpose is fulfilled of the sun, the diminished duration of life of all living entities. Prabhupada explains. In Brahma-saṁhitā it is stated that the sun is the eye of Supreme and it rotates in its particular orbit of time. Similarly, beginning from the sun down to the atom, all bodies are under the influence of Kala chakra, or the orbit of the eternal time, and each of them has a scheduled or orbital time of 1 samvatsara. So 1 samvatsara means orbital time, and they are different bodies, different movements. Moon has its own orbit, sun has its own orbit, nakshatra they have their own orbit, Jupiter has its own orbit. Everybody travel according to his own time. So they are not traveling same. Anyway, I'll show a video a little bit about that. So this is a shloka. The samvatsara, parivatsara, idavatsara, anuvatsara, vatsara, these are the 5 different movement speeds of the orbits of time. There are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, luminaries in firmament, and they have their own samvatsara. So this is explained here. Okay, now Prabhupada explains, each and every planet within the universe travels at a very high speed. From statement of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is understood that even the sun travels 16,000 miles in a second. 16,000 miles in a second. 16,000 miles is something like 25 kilometers. Huh? What? 25,000. Yeah, 16,000 miles is 25,000 kilometers, in a second. Correct? If car goes 100 kilometers per hour, that we have experienced with some of our drivers, that car goes 100 kilometers per hour, means 27 meters in a second. This temple room is maybe, how many meters? 60 feet, maybe, this is maybe 20 meters. Okay. So in 1 second, car goes from that blue plastic there to the altar. In 1 second, car, if it goes 100 kilometers per hour, in 1 second goes 27 meters. 1 second. So fast, 1 second, gone. You remember on highway when these bikes are going like a man, very, such a speed. This is 100 kilometers per hour, means 27 meters per second. Now you count, 25,000 kilometers per second. 25,000 kilometers. From here to America is 1 second. Okay? Something like that. Europe is some 8,000 kilometers from here, so maybe USA is maybe double. No? It's amazing. No? Look at the speed of the sun. No? So therefore, in the Vedic divisions of time, you will find seconds, 10 part of the second, 100 part of the second, 1,000 part of the second, 10,000 part of the second. Why you use 10,000 part? Which watch has 10,000 part of the second? Where you use? In Indian Railway. Yeah, tell me more about it. Why 10,000? Because there's such a speed that if you say 1 second, he could be anywhere between 25,000 kilometers. So if you want to point out exactly where is the sun, to calculate Titi, where to do the puja, you have to go for 10,000 parts of the second to locate it approximately also. So then you call this, okay, he is here. You call the angular velocity, you calculate formulas are there in Surya Siddhanta explaining this, how to know where is auspicious time to do puja. 10,000 parts of the second, used by Vedic rishis, who modern Indologists call a caveman of India. Yeah, man, but your watch doesn't still show 10,000 parts of the second, and even if I show you, you will not know how to use it. For what? You have no means of calculating it, bogus. Okay, and from Brahma-saṁhitā, Prabhupada said, we understand from the shloka Chakshuresh Savita Sakala Grahanam that the sun is considered to be the eye of Supreme Personality Godhead and also has a specific orbit with which it circles. Similarly, all other planets have their specific orbits, but together, all of them encircle the pole star or Dhruva Loka, where Dhruva Maharaj is situated at the summit of the three worlds. We can only imagine how highly exalted the actual position of devotee is, and certainly we can even conceive how exalted is the position of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what is the point? The Bhagavatam describes that all the planets rotate around Dhruva Loka, pole star, but pole star is not rotating. And the salesmen all over the world, they knew that if they look at the sky, they cannot orient themselves. That GPS was not there a few centuries ago. So how can navigate their way through the sea? By looking at pole star. Because pole star is fixed, is always not. Is always fixed. So whenever they could relate to all other, their position according to the pole star, that saves them. They could actually travel. And then the clock was made to measure the altitude and longitude, and it's a amazing thing is that Bhagavatam speaks about that. Ancient people who follow Vedic lore, rishis, they knew pole star is not moving. And even today we can calculate, we can see that. No, but it's moving around his own orbit. Okay. So, okay, a little more about the sun. From the description in this verse, it appears the sun moves. According to modern astronomers, the sun is fixed in one place, surrounded by solar system. But here we find the sun is not stationary. It is rotating in prescribed orbits. Surya Mandala, Samvatsara is there. This fact is corroborated by Brahma-saṁhitā. Yasyāgyaya brahmate sambrita kala chakraha. The sun is rotating according to kala chakra. The sun is rotating in its fixed orbit in accordance with the order of Supreme Personality Godhead. According to Jyotirveda, the science of astronomy in the Vedic literature, the sun moves for 6 months on northern side of the Sumeru hill, 6 months on the southern side. Again, we are speaking. We have practical experience on this planet. Then when there is summer in north, there is winter in the south and vice versa. Correct. Now is winter in India. What about Australia? It's a summer holidays. When? December, January, and February. It's a summer holidays in Australia. No? Amazing, didn't know. Okay. Modern materialistic science sometimes presents themselves as all-knowing, as knowing all the ingredients of the sun. Yet they are unable to offer second sun like Maharaj Priyavratas. So Maharaj Priyavrata, by his punya, he rode around the chariot like a second sun. So this is different point. In the chariot of sun god, the sun travels on top of a mountain in orbit called the Samvatsara, encircling Mount Meru. The sun's path on the north side is called Tarana and the path of southern side is Dakshina. One side represents a day for demigods and other side represents night. So these are just shlokas from the Okay, so you can see here like this. This is the Bhumandala. Okay, this is the Bhumandala, the flat earth. Okay, and this is Sumeru. North from Sumeru is pole star. And all planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Moon, Sun, Ketu, Rahu, everybody is attached by the cords of pravaha, by the cords of winds, by the ropes of wind. All subtle cords are there, attached to all planets, and all they are rotating above the earth. Nakshatras, everything is there. within this Bhurbhuvasva. Below that, sun does not come. Remember, the lower planetary system, they are illuminated by the jewels on the hoods of the snakes, but sun does not come. Now, another chart shows, zoom from above, same bow mandala, just looking from above. This is how it looks like. On the 7th island, Pushkara Dvipa, there is a mountain called Manasotara, which is circular. It splits Dvipa in the half. This yellow line here, it's a mountain. It's very unusual because it goes full circle, splits the Pushkara Dvipa in half. Okay, on top of that Manasotara mountain, the sun chariot drives. One wheel is attached to the sun chariot, and another axle is fixed on the top of Sumeru, and goes like we will tie the bull for our grass cutting machine you've seen in Goshala, no? Similar like this. I mean, without any offense to Sūrya there. This is how it is. One pole is attached to the fixed, to the Sumeru, which is just aligned with the pole star. And the sun travels on top of Manasotara. So this is the sun chariot. So one axle is attached to the sun chariot and one wheel is there. Chariot has only one wheel because one is fixed and one wheel is there and goes like this around. This is how it is described. So we'll see in video in a few seconds. The chariot of the sun god has only one wheel, which is known as Samvatsara. The 12 months are calculated to be 12 spokes. Now you look at the design. The design is showing the time, the Sarma's orbital time, and then 12 spokes are there in the wheel, 12 months. The 6 seasons are the sections of its rim, and the 3 Chaturmasa periods are in 3 section hub. One side of the axle carrying the wheel rests upon the summit of the Mount Sumeru, and other rests upon Manasotara mountain. Affixed to the outer and end of the axle, the wheel continuously rotates on Manasotara mountain like wheel of an oil pressing machine. And that's exactly what it is. It's like an oil pressing machine. And Prabhupada further explained. These are shlokas from Bhagavatam. As in an oil pressing machine, the first axle is attached to second axle, which is 1/4 as long. It means dimensions are given. The upper end of this second axle is attached to Dhruva Loka by rope of wind. Now another axle is there. One is attached to the top of Sumeru, and another one attached to the pole star. Okay. So, and chariot is here on one wheel. So this is how it goes. I'll just show in a second. Okay. My dear king, the carriage of the sun god chariot is estimated to be 28,800,000 miles long and 1/4 as wide. The chariot's horses, which are named after Gayatri and other Vedic meters, are harnessed by Arun Dev to yoke that is also 9 lakhs yojanas wide. This chariot continuously carries the sun god. Look at the sun god chariot, how big it is. And 7 horses are the meters of the mantras. 7 horses in Vishnu Purāṇa says, yoked to the sun god chariot are named Gayatri, Brihati, Ushni, Jagati, Trishtup, Anushtup, Pankti. What are these? The meters we chant. No, we know, at least Trishtup we know. Anushtup, Trishtup. These names of various Vedic meters designate the 7 horses that carry the sun god's chariot. Although Arunadev sits in front of the sun god and is engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backward towards the sun god. So he looks backward. He looks from the left side, the Vayu Purāṇa explains. Although Arunadev is in front seat controlling the horses, he looks backward the sun god from his left side. Out of respect, he is looking up the left side and driving the horses. There are 60,000 saintly persons named Valikhilyats, each the size of a thumb, who are located in front of the sun god and who offer him eloquent prayers of glorifications. So they are also facing backwards to the movement, and they are seeing the Sūrya, the traveling ladies, like somebody sits facing the, so they are traveling ladies. Apsaras are there, Gandharvas are there. This is all described. Similarly, 14 other saints, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, and demigods, who are divided into groups of 2, assume different names every month and continuously perform different ritualistic ceremonies to worship Supreme Lord as the most powerful demigod, Sūrya Dev, who holds many names. Now, every month, the rishis who accompany are changed. Gandharvas who accompany change. Apsaras, Devatas who accompany Sūrya change. When Sūrya is changed, all the set is changed. They will find also in 12th canto Bhagavatam also more description is there. My dear king, in his orbit through Bhumandala, the sun god traverses a distance of 760,800,000 miles at the speed of 2,000 yojanas, 2 kroshas in a moment, 16,000 miles in a second. That's what it is. So this is really very amazing. Okay, I'll show a little bit of video. I'm not sure you'll get the sound, but let's see how it goes.
The alignment of heavenly bodies around the pole star was elucidated by Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā in a letter.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada's letter says like this. We can see how the whole planetary system is turning around. Look at this shining star here. This is the pole star. All other stars, the sun, the moon, the Jupiter, everything is attached by the ropes of wind to the pole star. Is the pivot. Each planet has its own orbit fixed. But the sun is moving up and down, north and south. It is not that we should accept. No, not my voice. You have to come. Okay, doesn't matter. Just switch it off. Switch off, please. Okay. So Prabhupada spoke this. That we don't accept this scientific explanation that sun is fixed and earth is moving. So here, Harishari Prabhu, who was there with Prabhupada when they wanted to build the Vedic temple of Vedic planetarium, Prabhupada explained, it's like chandelier. So the whole thing is moving. Chandelier is something hanging, suspended from above, and all the lights are attached. So same thing, pole star is up, and all planets are attached, and everything is moving in Kala Chakra around the pole star, above the earth. Earth is fixed, and the chandelier is moving. So Prabhupada said, this is what we should show on our temple of Vedic planetarium. Then Bhavananda is explaining, here you cannot hear sound, but I know the text. He said, Prabhupada will go and say, dome I want in the temple, because he wanted to show the chandelier. So you can see here, this chandelier beautifully depicted by this computer model. And Prabhupada said that everything is rotating, everything should be depicted. Now you can see this dolphin here. Have you seen this? This is the Shishumar, again described in Bhagavatam. It's an imaginary form of a dolphin. Sometimes Shishumar is described as a scorpion also. In Madhvas, they interpret it as a scorpion, and we took it as a dolphin. Different translators describe different. The same word is used, could mean both things. But the yogis imagine the form of the Lord, of the universal structure in the form of a dolphin, transcendental dolphin. They meditate on that according to the position of the planets and according to position of nakshatras. So they meditate on that universal form which is rotating around the pole star. This is the part of meditation described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It's very amazing. Yeah. So you see, everything is attached to the pole star. Everything is taking shelter of pole star. So this is from Prabhupada's letter. Okay, now in this Vedic cosmology video, the explanation of this is given. Well, what is the position of Dhruva? That all stars are rotating below him, attached to his planet. This is the most glorious planet in the universe, basically. Everybody is moving, being attached to the kind of control by the pole star. Okay, so you can see from the side again this, Bhumandala down, and you can see this imaginary form of the transcendental dolphin on which yogi meditates. This is our painting. You see how it looks like. Yogis meditate upon that. So this gives you a picture. Everything is controlled by the Lord. Everything is running by the Kala Chakra. Everything is moving by the will of the Lord, and everything will be destroyed by the will of the Lord. So in that pole star, the Kshirodakasha Vishnu's abode is there, where he is accessible to all devatas. It is Vaikuntha planet. It is not destroyed. So therefore, Dhruva Maharaj gets better planet even than Brahma, because even Brahmaloka is destroyed, but the abode of Polestar is not destroyed. The Kshirakasha abode is not destroyed. And this is what science proposed. Heliocentric model means that sun is in the middle and all planets are rotating. But it is not fair what we learn in the school, because even other scientists accept that we don't know whether Earth is fixed and sun is rotating, or sun is fixed and Earth is rotating. But both, if you calculate the distances and the movements of the planets, it's question of relative motion only. So any coordinate system you take will do the job of calculation. We can calculate day and night and eclipses and everything according to the heliocentric or geocentric model. But yeah. Oh, video sound is coming? Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, video sound is coming when you hear, is it? Oh, I see. Oh, that didn't come. Good, you told. Okay. So now it's okay? Now it's clear? Check it out. Everything is clear. Okay. So what's the point? The point is like this, that in the school you learn that sun is in the center and the planets are moving around, Earth is moving around. And nobody gives you option. That could be that Earth is fixed and sun is moving around, because calculation is safe. That you are sitting and I'm walking, or I'm sitting, you are walking, but the distance is same, the speed is same, calculation will be the same. It's a relative motion. So Einstein said this, either CS, coordinate system, could be used with equal justification. The two sentences, the sun is at rest and the Earth moves, or the sun moves and Earth is at rest, would simply mean two different conventions concerning two different coordinate systems. Doesn't matter. You see, the big scientists, they knew that both calculation could be proper. But now in school, they don't give you option. We never heard about geocentric model. They're laughing on geocentric. Previously people think Earth is fixed, Earth is flat, this, that. But Einstein said, could be. Any of them, calculation is safe. Not only Einstein, look at other scientists quoted here. Okay, the video goes on its own. Who is the next? Other scientists also confirm this, but we are just brainwashed by the modern schools, modern science. They're not allowing you at all to look. Fried Hoyle, astrophysicist. We know that the difference between heliocentric theory and geocentric is one of relative motion only, and that such difference has no physical significance. Doesn't matter how you calculate, whether Earth is fixed or the sun is fixed. Mach. Obviously, it matters little if we think of the Earth as turning about on its axis, or we view it as at rest, while the fixed stars revolve around it. Geometrically, these are exactly the same case of relative rotation of the Earth and the fixed stars with respect to one another. Again, another great scientist who acknowledged could be geocentric model also. So this is what we learn in school, heliocentric model. No option, never heard of geocentric. But look at this. There is no planetary observation by which one on Earth can prove that the Earth is moving in orbit around the sun. There is no proof of it. There is no proof that sun is fixed. You cannot prove it. By sitting on Earth, you do not know we are moving and sun is fixed, or sun is moving and we are fixed. You cannot tell who is moving. No? Sometimes in the train, you are sitting and train next to you is moving and you feel we are moving. But you look other side window, oh, we are not moving. So who is moving? Is Earth moving or sun is moving? Veda says Earth is fixed. So now the description of the sun is given. In the Vedas, the sun gets power. It's not volcanic power. It's not electric power. Sun runs on the water. But the diffusion of molecules of water, evaporating water from all the oceans, all the universe, sun continuously regenerates power. It runs on the water, that's described. And now we know that apart from sun and sunrise, there will be on Bhumandala, this is how sun travels. And when sun goes around the Manasotara, you get this experience of day and night. You get sun illuminates half of the Bhumandala, does not illuminate full mandala, half. So when it travels around Manasotra, always half of Bhumandala is covered with sun, half is covered by the night. And same thing, north and south, you will get this experience of 6 months day, 6 months night at the poles. Same like Devatas. Devatas have this experience, 6 months is one day, 6 months is one night. Okay, then unfortunately you're not getting the sound of this video. Next time we should get a little more prepared for this one. But this is how the sun is described. It rides on his chariot. This is Uttarayana described 6 months up and 6 months down goes to the Dakshinayana course of the sun. And one wheel is attached here. Now people see the sun globe, sun disk, but inside of the sun there is a sun chariot with 7 horses. And the Sūrya Narayan sitting there with his symbols, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, like that. And the sun travels on the top of Manasotra. So you can see that one axle is attached to the Sumeru, and one is attached to the top of the pole star, and one wheel is there, which has these 12 spokes, or like a 12 months, and represent one samvatsara. So this is some idea I give you a little bit. It's difficult to put it in the drawing really how it really looks like, but you can see these digajas, directional elephants you have seen, just passed by on the highway. So you see the one wheel, so approximately like that. And in that Manasotra, sun goes also through the different motions, goes also up and down, there are different channels. And when sun is away from the earth, you have different seasons changing. So going on up and down also in that course. And that influences the different seasons like that. Oh, I think we cannot follow this because no sound is coming. So you can see here, the half of Bhumandala is enlightened by sun. Therefore you have experience of day and night. And Sumeru, which is in middle, is transparent, does not hold the sun rays. Sun rays go through it. So anyway, this is some more detail here unnecessary. But let's go to our text further. So that was our shloka. We are discussing these 3 points. No, what sun's functions are there. Ovidura, the sun enlivens living entities with its unlimited heat and light. We were discussing this. Diminishes duration life for all living entities in order to release them from their illusion of material attachment. We were discussing this now, how the sun is running on the wheel of the Kala Chakra. So gives life and takes life away. And the third point described in the shloka is, he enlarges the path of elevation to heavenly kingdom. Now by worshipping Sūrya, first Sūrya gives the Vedas, how to uplift one's, gives the Karmakanda portion also, describing how to go to the heavenly planets. Okay? And gives the blessings for those who worship Sūrya. They get pious punya, they accumulate punya by which they can promote themselves to heavenly planets. But there is another point of Sūrya which actually helps yogis, rishis to attain moksha. And this is described in the Shastra, that when soul leaves the body, you know there are 101 nadi in the body, the subtle channels from which souls in the time of death leaves the body. So if somebody in Sattva gun, Rajagun, Tamagun, the person will leave body either through the mouth or through the anus or through the Brahmarandra, through the top chakra, or through the mouth, or different sides, the soul can leave the body. So this is described. Now what happens is that if the soul leaves the body through Brahmarandra chakra, as a yogi can control when to leave the body, then the path of the light is path to moksha. That the soul travels from the Brahmarandra next to the moon through the sun. First goes to the sun, then goes to the Brahma Loka, then leaves the material universe. So sun helps one to get moksha also. So this is described. Okay, so shlokas are quoted. Surya Mandalam, you can see here in the shloka Yajnavalkya Smriti. Among all of them, one great soul travels upward. among many, many people who die, one soul is rare who goes upward. He breaks through the circle of the sun. He goes through Surya Mandala. He passes beyond the planet of Brahma, enters the supreme destination. No? Tena yat param gatim. Brahma lokam, and goes on. Look at this, Chandogya Upanishad says, after he departs from the body, the soul travels on the sun rays. Now, how soul travels out of the universe? On the sun rays. Now you will see different types of sun rays. What about if you leave body at night? No, sun rays are always connected to the soul from the beginning of creation. Even nighttime, there are sun rays which are connected to the soul. It's a subtle. Casting off the material mind and meditating on the sacred syllable Om, the soul travels to the sun, which is the doorway to the worlds. They who are enlightened with transcendental knowledge may enter that doorway, but they who are not enlightened are stopped from entering. The following verse describes this. There are 101 of nadis. So this means, as long as material body is present, there is a relationship with the sun rays. Therefore, the soul may depart at any time of the day or night, but still travel by the path of the sun rays. It is clearly seen, this is Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary on Vedanta Sutra. It is clearly seen that the body remains warm in both the hottest of days and coldest of nights. If the body has not relation with the sun, this would not be possible. So we maintain our bodily temperature because we always have link to the sun rays. The scriptures also give further proofs of the body unchanging relation with the sun. Chandogya Upanishad is again quoted. The path of the sun rays begins at the sun and ends at the nadis. This also begins at the nadis and ends at the sun. So what is the point? All these subtle pranic channels that we have in the body, all are connected to the sun rays. So we have heard the yogis can travel on the sun rays. And this is exactly what is described in Shastra. The soul is always linked, and all nadis are linked to this channel. So if soul can come out on particular channel, which is going upwards, the 101st one, then no more birth than that. So anyway, many shlokas are here. Okay, I will not torture you too much. Okay, let's. So this the last one, last point is fulfilled by that. The sun helps you elevate to the heavenly kingdom and helps you elevate to the moksha. That's also a function of the sun. So Srila Prabhupada says, explained the sun goes important role in disseminating Vedic knowledge also. No, the sun is the king of the planets, and the sun god, a present of the name Vivaswan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling deity of controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand science of Bhagavad Gita. Imam Vivasveta Yogam Proktavam Ahamavyam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manu Ikshvakave Bravi. So you see the importance of sun. He got the first knowledge from Krishna, and then it went to the Manus and kings Ishwaku and continue. No? It was spoken son Vivaswan because he is also Kshatriya. He is the father of all Kshatriyas, who are descendants of sun god, or the Sūrya Vamsha Kshatriyas. Who is Sūrya Vamsha Kshatriya? Famous personality who comes in Sūrya Vamsha. Raghu Vamsha Ram, correct? Sūrya Vamsha. And Krishna comes in Chandra Vamsha. So this is interesting. No, that this is interesting. Srila Vaishnava Chakravarti Thakur quotes after that whenever you see in Vedas, you will see Soma Surya or Chandra Surya mentioned. Always Soma is mentioned before Surya. Mostly 19% of the Vedic times when they are mentioned together is always Soma Chandra, or Soma Surya or Chandra Surya, always is mentioned like this. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur said, that's because Krishna comes in Chandra Vamsha and Ram comes in Raghu Vamsha. Therefore, always mention first Chandra Vamsha. Okay, now, this is interesting in Mahabharata also. How did King Yudhishthir got his Akshaya Patra? By worshipping of Surya. And there, from Domya Muni, he learned. Janamejaya asked, how did that bull among the Kurus, King Yudhishthira, for the sake of Brahmanas, adore the sun of wonderful appearance? Because he had so many Brahmanas with him in the forest, there was a difficulty to arrange food for them. So here Mahabharata says like this, that King Yudhishthir heard from Daumya Rishi, from his Brahmana, glories of Sūrya, and Daumya Rishi narrated 108 names of Sūrya there. And the benefit, who worships that, he'll get inexhaustible food. Because of sun we have a food. There's no sun, nothing will grow. So Sūrya is worshipped for that. So Yudhishthir went on worshipping Sūrya to get Akshaya Patra. Here, O king, purifying himself and withdrawing the mind from every other thing. And, O king of kings, appointed you a time, I will tell you everything in detail, all auspicious one. Listen to 108 names of the sun, as they were disclosed of old by Jumna to the high-souled son of Pritha. Daumya said, Sūrya, Aryaman, Bhaga, Tvarsti, Pushka, Arka, Savitri, Ravi, Gabastimat, Aja, Kala, Mrityu, Dhatri, Prabhakar, Prithivi, Apa, Teja, Kha, Vayu. There are 108 names of Sūrya, okay? So, then what did Yudhishthir do? Having heard from Daumya these words, suitable to the occasion, Yudhishthir the just, with the heart concentrated within itself and purifying it duly, became engaged in austere meditation, moved by the desire to supporting of Brahmanas. So you see, Yudhishthir desire, so he can maintain Brahmanas. He entered into the cold river, and from the river he worshipped, with the water of river, worshipped Sūrya Deva and chanted these 108 names of the Sūrya. And then Sūrya Dev blessed him with that. Okay. So he glorifies Sūrya. You are sun, the eye of the universe. No? So you can see, Yudhishthir knows who is supreme. He is very clear. This is form of Vishnu. The art of the souls of all corporal existence. You are the origin for all things. You are the embodiment of acts of all religious men. You are refuge of those versed in Sankhya philosophy. And you are the support of yogins. You are the door unfastened with bolts. You are the refuge of those wishing for emancipation. So you can see he is glorifying Supreme Lord, Surya Narayan. It's very clear here. From this shlokas, it's very clear, you know. And then Surya replied, O great king, thus, O great king, was the sun that purified the world, adored by Yudhishthir, and pleased with him, the maker of day, sun luminous and blazing like fire, showed himself to son of Pandu. So now the Surya Deva appeared in front of Yudhishthir and said, you shall obtain all your desires. I shall provide you with food for 5 and 7 years together. In Sanskrit it said poetically 5 and 7 means 12 years. O king, accept this copper vessel which I give unto you. And you of excellent vows, as long as punctually will hold this vessel without partaking of its contents, fruits and roots, and meat and vegetables cooked in your kitchen, these 4 kinds of food shall from this day be inexhaustible. Any of the 14 years from this, and on the 14th year from this, you shall regain your kingdom. So 2 blessings. One, you get this copper pot inexhaustible, and the second one, that he will regain his kingdom by the blessing of Surya Narayan. And then what he did, he himself went cooking the first day, and he wanted to see. And his small pot was there. He prepared 4 types of foods, and when he went on serving, it's inexhaustible. And then he last took, and then he given to Draupadi. When she took, pot was empty. And every day like this. Surya's blessings. Okay, so we know from Gita, Rasaham, Pusakantaya, Prabhasmi, Shashi Surya, Krishna says, I am the sunshine, I am the moonshine. So as soon as you see the morning sunshine, you see Krishna. So where is chance of forgetting God? There is no chance at all. As soon as it is sunshine, oh, here is Krishna. So this is how we should see. This is how the world should see. So this is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. And this is Surya's activities in the destruction of the universe when Pralaya comes. The sun is annihilating form, will drink up with its terrible rays all the water of the oceans, of living bodies, and of the earth itself. Not only that sun evaporates oceans, but evaporates all liquids in our body. Modern science, doctor, how much water in our body? 75%, 80%. Huh? How much? 70%. Body is made of water, and sun will dry it up when Pralaya comes. But the devastating sun will not give back anything. burned from all sides, from above by blazing sun, from below by fire of Lord Sankarshan. The universal sphere will glow like a burning bowl of cow dung. You know cow dung, Patty? This is how Bhu Mandala will look, like burning. And this really, if you see cow dung burning, it's just red, red, red. Doesn't burn in flame like a wood exactly. It just goes red, 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 red. This is what happens in Pralaya. Okay. So Prabhupada concludes here that he quotes the shloka and explains. I worship Govinda, Primeval Lord, Supreme Personality Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which he considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of eternal time. The sun is the king of all planetary systems and has unlimited potency in heat and light. Although sun is described as Bhagavan, the most powerful, and although it's actually the most powerful planet within the universe, it nevertheless has to carry out the order of Govinda, Krishna. The sun god cannot deviate even an inch from the orbit designed to him, Samvatsara. Therefore, in every sphere of life, the supreme order, Supreme Personal Godhead is carried out. The entire material nature carries out his order. However, we foolishly see the activities of material nature without understanding the supreme order and supreme person behind them. As confirmed in Gita, Maya Ādi-keśava Prakriti. Material nature carries out the orders of Lord, and thus everything is maintained in an orderly way. Prabhupada concludes like this. This verse from Brahma-saṁhitā confirms that even the largest and most powerful planet, Sun, rotates within fixed orbit, Kala Chakra, in obedience to the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has nothing to do with gravity or any other imaginary laws created by material scientists. Material scientists want to avoid the ruling government of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore they imagine different conditions under which they suppose the planets move. The only condition, however, is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the various predominating deities or the planets are persons, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also a person. The Supreme Personality orders the subordinate person, the demigods of various names, to carry out his supreme will. So this is today's shloka. Describe the sun, who is the king of all planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore Primeval Lord Govinda, in the persons of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. So thank you very much for hearing and giving your time to hear about this glories of Surya Narayana. And I think, any questions, any comments? Yes, please.
Sometimes people ask why Lord Ramachandra was writing Ādi-keśava. He was reciting Ādi-keśava.
Yes. Yes.
A common question that they ask.
Why Lord Ramachandra was reciting Aditya Hridayam. And even in the Krishna's time, I think Krishna recommended to, if I remember, to Samba. He recommended to Samba to chant same Surya Hridayam. Now why? Because Lord Ram comes as a perfect king. His thing is to establish Dharma. Every king of Surya Vamsha worships sun god. See, we establish tradition, as simple as that. And if Ram sometimes glorifies his devotee, he finds pleasure in it. And if you see it, Surya Narayan, there is no difference. Lord Ram chanting the glories of Surya Narayan is to give example. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tada deve tarujana. To give example to all other kings who comes in Surya Vamsha, they have to worship. You can see the kings of Rajasthan in Udaipur, Maharana. You can see the symbol of sun. They'll put the shield in the middle, golden shield, and put like a sun rays, different riffles around. This is their symbol of Kshatriyas, Surya Vamsha. No? It was made of gold, of solid gold. I don't know how many kg of gold, but later on when India became independent, the gold was independently taken to Delhi by the government. So, Hare Krishna, Surya Vamsha, that was the end of Surya Vamsha. The eclipse came from Delhi. So, anyway, so like that, it's a simple thing, not difficult to understand. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande.